And you're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is still iBrand Day Break. I seemingly like what we usually do on Fridays, but this is very different because we have somebody different in the house talking the business of music and how it happens for, you know, him and his team. I'm talking about none other than the lead A&R for Maven Music. I'm talking to Akachi. Hi, Akachi. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, it's a bit unusual for what we do on Fridays, but of course, it's beautiful to have you here today. It's what we usually have, especially on Fridays, are people who are like musical artists who make music, who sing, you know, like musicians, band members, band leads and all. But we've not really had somebody who is like in the administrative end of music. So it's beautiful to have you here today. Amazing. You are the A&R for your company.
Yeah,
and
one of, yes.
Okay, one of the
A&Rs. I work with a fantastic team. I wouldn't claim to be the lead. We do have an A&R director and an A&R manager.
Okay.
So I'm an A&R associate, and we all collectively do amazing things.
I like that.
Effort, yeah.
I like that. I like the clarification. Thank you so much for that. But you know, a lot of people hear A&R, and I must confess, for somebody like me, it took getting into, you know, being in the media, getting a better understanding of how the industry works, to actually take out time to go and find what A&R stands for, and you know, the work that people do. I'm sure a lot of people who actually even claim to be doing music don't even know what that is, and that's why a lot of them don't have it.
That is true.
You get?
That is true. Yes, absolutely.
So, for the benefit of my viewers today who would like to, you know, get that knowledge today, can you give us a background to what it means to be an A&R person and what you guys really do? Okay,
amazing. I would keep it short and sweet, to be honest, because I could go the Google route and say, I mean, A&R means artist and repertoire. So that's what you see every time, like you Google, you browse and trying to do some research. But speaking specifically and practically, think of A&R as like the product development guys of the music industry. And the artist and repertoire means like the music catalog, the music that the artists make and release, even the unreleased stuff. So basically, we are the guys that help develop both the artist and the music. And this tends to have different aspects, different dimensions, you know, from getting all the pieces they need to make the music, getting the writers, the producers, setting up the sessions, sometimes even giving guidance, you know, depends on the level the artist is at their career, you know, to styling, you know, styling direction, let's put it that way, to media training and live band training. So to what else? Just music industry education, just to make sure they know how to navigate these interesting times, you understand? And to just giving pointers on how to build the music and what the music could be used for. And of course, like having that nice handshake with the marketing team in a company to say, okay, say the marketing guys will always want to market, always want to sell. So they come up with like elaborate plans, and we say, okay, we love this plan, but we have to tweak this plan to fit the artist, you know, because we're close to the artist. We know what they can carry, we know the nuances. So bear the artist nuance in mind, how to just bring that handshake and that synergy, you know. So everything artist development and music development.
You know, that was very short and sweet.
Yes, I'm a bit of a
Don't
talker.
mind me.
I was a bit of a talker, my bad.
Okay, well, you know, in the midst of everything you just explained now, does that also include like talent hunting? Like, do you guys look out for
scouting? Scouting is there. And a lot of people will say a lot more about the scouting, because it really depends on who you represent. If you represent the label, you will go scouting on behalf of the label. If you represent the artist, you will pitch the artist to multiple labels and multiple opportunities where they can help scale the artist up. So scouting is definitely a big part of it.
Okay, so you represent an arm of the music industry. You represent and a very important arm of the music industry. So I'm going to ask you this question. You know, it's not like how do I put this? It's not like the regular everything else that's probably that functions in the music industry. Like you need to be talented to be able to sing, to be able to write. You need to be talented to be able to play the instrument or something or produce. But you are like that guy who probably went to school to study artist management. Get me right, yeah? I'm not saying that is what it is, but this question is directed at finding out how it even starts for an A&R person. Like, what do you have to be able to do the kind of job that you do?
I would say passion for the industry, passion for the music is primary, to be honest. I feel like the work we do is a work in service and selflessness, and a lot of times, sometimes even when the money is great, it's really the passion that will drive you. So passion is primary, and it's passion that will even inspire you to do the research and learn things that have to do with the industry and how to actually groom talent, you feel me? So passion is definitely primary. A lot of people don't really go to school to study A&Ring, but they find themselves in the mix somehow. It's like a calling, you know. It's like, okay, some people are artists who turn into A&Rs. So that being said, they have the artist history and they understand the artist nuances. Some people are producers who turn into A&Rs. Some people are like PR personnel who pivot into A&R because maybe they helped out an artist figure out their trajectory and they've realized I have a calling for this. So ultimately it boils down to the passion and to the calling, and from there you can scale up everything else.
Yeah, while what you just said now makes sense, I'd like to put it back to you on a personal level. Did you always know you were going to be in the music industry, and did you always know that this was the part of it that you wanted to be a part of?
I kind of always knew I would be in the industry. Didn't always know this was the path, but I always knew I could do it. It's just like I would do it unofficially for people around me. I actually studied engineering, and I feel like it's a bit of a flex for like anybody I know that studies engineering. I feel like we have a universal superpower, is the ability to figure things out.
Yeah.
So this was an aspect of life, of creativity that I was passionate about, and I was able to figure out and always bring like great insight to the table. So it just felt like a natural fit, and here we are.
And it's always better when it's natural because it just comes to you.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about the business of it.
Please, yeah.
The Nigerian music industry has a multi-billion-dollar industry sitting on their shoulders, right? We have been able to build it that way. I'm not even going to allow anybody to take that away from us. We worked so hard to get to where we are right now. In the past, we didn't have a lot of what we have today, like the type of developments that we've been able to come to eventually. And having been able to get to that level of development is why we can boast of having the type of industry that we have right now in Nigeria. And that brings me to the next question. Being very functional in the A&R arm of things, how would you say that has contributed to the progress that we've made in, say, 10 years down the line to where we are right now? How would you say your arm of the industry has contributed to that progress?
I mean, ultimately, it's like I said, it's like product dev, The thing is, even before the labels, like the Nigerian labels officially had A&Rs, they always had people who were passionate about the music and had people who would recommend to the artists, do this instead of this, do this kind of music, this is what the market needs, this is who you are, be the best version of yourself. So unofficially it's always existed as far as I'm concerned. However, with money coming in, with more structure, and like just a lot more eyeballs on like Afro beats right now, I would say that there's been like an increase in the number of A&Rs, an increase in the number of people who are willing to develop artists. Unfortunately, I would also say that there's been a larger, more exponential increase in the number of artists. So a lot of artists are still trying to figure it out themselves. There's still a lot of hands-on development going on. But ultimately, I feel like A&R has always been there. You feel me? And it's just that now people are now more willing, more proud to come out and say, hey, I am an A&R. Gladly, some people have like success stories to their name, so like the credibility is there, you feel me? But yeah, like it's always been there, and I want to believe it will always be there. It will morph into other things based on like technology with AI and you know, with like TikTok, you know, people, the labels pivoting to scouting artists through virality over TikTok and social media. It will morph, but the thing is, artists will always need direction, and I guess we will always be there, you know.
But would you say is that, you know, you guys been around for, even before it became an official thing, you guys have always been around, and where you guys are at right now, excuse me, would you say you get the flowers that you deserve, like the type of flowers that you deserve? I mean, you and everybody else that you know that functions in that arm as you probably might not be in the same company as you, but I'm sure you have people out there who also do the same thing that you do, and you all connect, and you know, you guys have conversations.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's family. Like even when I think the beauty of being a music industry professional is that even when you meet your fellow professionals, even when you're at odds, it's such a small industry that you quickly bury the hatchet and you just move on and just try and find mutually beneficial opportunities for yourselves. But speaking to your question about getting our flowers, to be honest, I wouldn't say so. But at the same time, I would say that it's a profession. We are like the unsung heroes of our time. You know, I feel like anybody who comes into this line needs to make peace with the fact that you will be an unsung hero. You feel me? It's a thing where when the artist is winning, they will say the artist is a genius. When the artist is not winning, they will say the A&Rs are not doing their job. You get that? I get that. Yes. It's kind of like the analogy of when maybe, you know, you got like in a functional family, you know, we've got a father and a mother raising a child, and when the child comes first in class, the father says, that's my son, that's my daughter, that's my boy. When the child is not killing it, they'll say, what is your son doing? Do you understand what I mean? So we know that this is what it is. Could it be better? Absolutely, you know. The onus is it goes two ways. Okay. The onus is on us. First of all, the onus is on us to take our shine, to take our flowers. They won't always give you your flowers. Exactly. But as long as you can beat your chest and say, I did this, and you know it's not a lie, and the people you did it with will not deny you because they know what it is, you can actually come out and say, hey, I did this and I'm proud of the work I've done. And then the next leg is for the artist or whoever you represent to actually give you your flowers as well in the public eye and say, I may not have made it here without this person. Thank you. So it's a two-way street, and I like to think that it's getting better, you know, but ultimately in every situation we need to demonstrate our value and make peace with the fact that we may not always get the flowers. Yeah. So this analogy that you just gave, does it also translate to, should I say, the earnings? You know, the bar that comes with the work that you do. Is it at par? I mean, to be honest, I dare say I do feel like the music personnel in the music industry are underpaid. Okay. You feel me? Because that's a revelation. Yeah. I mean, I dare say because. I mean, a lot of money is generated. Yeah. You understand? But there is still a lot of, it's generated, but is concentrated to certain specific places. Do you understand? And so it may not always trickle down and out, which also boils down to the fact that you have to take a bet on yourself. You have to be in a position to scale, to be in a position to provide value to several people. And I don't think it's just A&Rs. I think that a lot of people are not compensated commensurate to their efforts. But the economy is a mess, you know, and the industry is growing. So I don't think it's something, we know the reality. But like I said, it's a passion-driven line. And even when that is what it is, passion drives us to do the best work that we can, ultimately. That's a beautiful submission. All right, so let us bring it down to
the actuality of
Okay.
doing your work.
Yes.
You know, you work directly with human beings.
Absolutely.
And trust me, as a sociologist, I know that human beings are the hardest,
Man.
the most difficult set of
Man.
living things you can work with.
Yes.
I have
Intense.
experienced that. I'm not even telling you something I haven't done. I have. You know, having worked in advocacy, I know what it's like to try and direct people, and you would lose your mind. But you do this every day, 24/7 a week, and 12 months a year, and you've not lost your mind. So, having established that could be a challenge, I don't even need to ask that as a question.
Yeah,
what
really.
other things would you say are, you know, the challenges that comes with, you know, doing the work that you do?
I mean, you've put it rightly. You know, when you're in the business of people, you have to be mindful of people's nuances, and you have to have a lot of patience. You know, and the thing is, when you're dealing with, it's one thing to be dealing with what I would call, permit me, civilians. You know, non-creatives, because it's largely a linear school of thought. But like when you're dealing with creatives, it's a school of thought where oftentimes emotion transcends logic, because out of the well of emotion, that's where they draw the inspiration to create the art. You know, so emotion often transcends logic, and it is stressful to do that, to
I can
deal
imagine.
with people who feel that way. But it's just, you just, like I said, the passion it always comes back to the passion and the patience to, you know, understand. Like, so when things happen, you just have to remind yourself that this is how it goes. It helps if the people you're dealing with are decent people. You know, I feel like the world is at a place where we don't have too many decent people, unfortunately. But when you're dealing with decent people, they will slip up every once in a while. But as long as you can have those candid conversations and you can, you know, circle back and recenter and go pivot, you'll be better off. So there's that as well, and there's a trust. It's not easy, but there are ways around it. So you just have to keep an open mind and be willing to figure out how to handle creative people.
Okay, we're gradually winding down.
That's fine.
But that's not before I ask you what it's like to be working with one of the biggest music teams in Africa. You work with Maven.
Yes, I do.
You know, it's mind-blowing, the work that you guys do, the beautiful things that you guys do. So I know that, you know, working in a place like that, it's easy for people to sit back and say, Aka just has fun on a daily basis. Like, you guys must really just be enjoying yourself, plus just chop some jazzy burger here and there and you enjoy yourself.
They really do think that.
You know?
So crazy. Yeah, yes,
It must
yes.
really come for free, but hey, that's by the way. What is it like, you know, the ups and downs, the laughs and the sad days? What is it like being in such a beautiful place to work with?
Yeah, I will say, first of all, if I may, a big shout out to the leadership of the company. You know, I feel like Don Jazzy is a phenomenal person, and at his core is a very kind soul. So there's always due consideration from him, which is something I respect. I feel like Tega, who's the COO, is a visionary, and he inspires all of us to be our best selves every day. So let's just do that. Then that being said, also, like, all the heads are killing it, and the HR guys hire the best people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here, right?
I can't get.
And the people I work with are amazing. So we figure it out. The thing with my line of work is it's very dynamic. It's not routine. You almost don't do the same things every day. You know, you almost don't. And these new sets of challenges that come up, you have to just figure it out. But like I said, when the passion is there, where there's a will, there's a way. So you will figure it out. You figure it out with the best people. Also, a big shout out to the artists as well, because they are insanely talented. The artists, the writers, the producers, they are arguably the best that exist in the industry.
Obviously.
And they're great people as well at their core. So we are just in a really great place. Our success is founded on years and years of hard work by our leaders, and the little work that we put in as well. It's not little, but I'm just being modest.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I get that.
The work that we put in, and we are in a business of making global superstars, but like every day we just figure it out. That's really it. We're passionate enough to want to figure it out and figure it out.
A lot of young artists are probably watching you this morning, and I don't want to come off as some type of way, but I do know that a word from somebody like you would mean a lot to them. you get what I'm trying to say with
That's
that.
cool. Yeah.
And being in the positions that you are in, you have seen firsthand what it's like to be an up and coming artist, and the kind of mistakes that they would make that would definitely ruin their career, and it could not just beyond ruining their career, it could ruin their lives, because a lot of people are not able to come out of that eventually, and that is a mistake that people wouldn't want to make. What is that one word or a couple of words that you can say?
Thank you for saying a couple of words.
A couple of words,
yeah,
that you would say to an up-and-coming artist who probably is looking for a label to sign them or try and do their thing or whatever, however they're approaching their work, but you know that if you're able to put one or two or three of these, into the work that you do, it would be good.
So, to the artists that are watching, above all things, consistency. Above all things, we're in an age where there's saturation. I feel like there's a lot of music saturation, and unfortunately the value of music, the value of a single song has drastically gone down, and there's a lot more artists. So cutting through is a lot more difficult than it used to be. That being said, with consistency, a bunch of things can happen. Say you're not, some people are prodigies, you understand, right? So let's assume you're not a prodigy. You are just a random fellow, and you're trying to figure this thing out. Consistency will take you from a 4 to an 8. I promise you. Like, it may take longer, but it will take you from a 3, from a 2 to an 8 in your own light, and with the time for people to understand who you are. If you're a prodigy, consistency would keep you at the top of your game and eventually at the top of the game. You understand? A Burna Boy, for instance, I dare say Burna was probably a prodigy, because even if you look at videos from 2010, he's always been that guy, and he's been consistent with it. So he's arguably one of the biggest Afrobeat artists we've ever had. And every time he gets on stage and he does some stuff, it's like mind-blowing. You feel like boom. So consistency, and sometimes you wouldn't have the resources to do the big things you want to do, but consistency means doing the little you can every day. The little you can every day to advance your cause and to win more people to your corner. That is that. I would also say that there's a lot of self-belief you need. Is even borders on delusion, to be honest. You kind of almost have to be delulu
to get your solulu.
To get your solulu. Eventually, the solulu will eventually come. And the thing is, I hate that it sounds like I'm saying such generic things, but tested and trusted. The consistency, the self-belief, the belief in your path, the belief that your path is what it is, the individuality. And that is so important, because when an age, like I said, there's so many artists. How do you cut through if you're trying to sound like Wiz, or you're trying to sound like Ira or Thames? How can you cut through? There's already Ira and Thames. There's already Wiz. There's already the guys. They've already done their thing. So when you're trying to replicate them, we don't care. We really don't. So understand who you are and amplify who that person is. Not everybody's gonna be big three. but you can and you will have like a sustainable career. You can and you will impact lives. You can and you will go down the streets and somebody will come and tell you your music changed my life.
True.
But you have to be in tune with yourself.
Okay, yes, I'm glad I said a couple of things because one wouldn't have cut it, you know. Thank you so much, Akachi, for coming on iBrand Daybreak today.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, I promised some people I was going to ask you this question. So,
okay.
Here goes.
Let's get it.
The Maven Academy, is it open for everybody? Is it something that anybody can access? And how are they able to if they wanted to?
This question. It is the artists that come into the academy are chosen. They're scouted by the A&Rs. They're scouted by the team, the Maven team. So I'll just put it out there because I've gotten this question actually. You don't pay to go into the academy. You have to be chosen. And you have to undergo a series of activities, call them tests, whatever. We decide if you're like a fit for the academy. Thank you so much for that honesty. We really appreciate it. Once again, thank you, Akachi. Hopefully we'll get to keep having conversations once in a while. Yes. It was a beautiful conversation. I hope you make something out of it. While we go on this quick break, we would have more stars join us to shine here on Star Corner iBrand Daybreak. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.